Hi, Dave. Good afternoon. Why the late change with Joe Kelly starting versus Julio?
The late change basically was we don't know how it's going to play out as far as the postseason. So to give Julio an opportunity to potentially pitch out of the pen and to kind of feel it more recently is a good way to prepare. We understand Clayton and Walker are going to go 1 and 2. We haven't decided which one, but we haven't made up our minds with Game 3. So for him to go out of the pen and see the rhythm of that is only going to be beneficial.
With the way that Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May have been performing, does it make sense that that's perhaps the direction that you go in for Game 3 and knowing that Julio has had experience coming out of the pen in the past?
No. I think that I would, there's a thought of potentially having each one of those guys pitch out of the pen their last turn, just so we can kind of see and continue keeping our options open and while preparing these guys.
I knew that you wanted to get Joe Kelly at least 4 to 5 appearances within this regular season before the postseason. How long can you anticipate him going tonight to start this thing?
It's going to be an inning. He was up yesterday, got us out of an inning, so he'll throw an inning. 3 or 4 hitters, and then that'll be it. And he'll be down, and I expect him to pitch in 2 of the games against the Angels.
How much more comfortable are you with bullpen games now, as we've had 3 or 4 in the last week and change?
Getting more comfortable, and I think that the main thing is that our players have received it well, and understand that we're trying to put them as well as us in the best position to win a baseball game.
Justin seems to be okay if he's at third base.
Yeah, he's okay. There was just some tightness yesterday, some cramping or something. So I feel good having him back out there. Training staff agrees. I know Justin's thrilled.
Thank you, Dave.
You got it.
Next question from Dave Assay. Go ahead.
Dave, what happened yesterday between the time that you put out the lineup to have Justin at third and when you decided to not start him?
I think it was just more the pregame, just kind of the hamstring just tightening up a little bit. So I don't know if it was one specific move, but then after going through some testing, some modalities yesterday and then last night during the game, talking to Justin, he was available. He could have pinch hit or something like that. We just didn't need him. And coming in today, he feels good. So that's just the confidence I have right now.
Do you think your confidence will grow more once you see him actually play there for a few innings, or are you still holding out on?
No, I feel good. Justin knows his body so well. And so he understands also how to kind of, put a governor on as far as his exertion when he needs to. But as far as the quick plays, the ball coming in to his left, right, I feel good that he can make all those plays. With that, we'll see how he is tonight, but I think it's more the, 5-6 innings, and then we'll get Eddie in the game.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Next question is from Bill Plunkett. Go ahead, Bill.
So is Julio going to pitch tonight? And if he does, in what role?
Julio's going to pitch tonight. He'll be the bulk guy. I just don't know when we're going to deploy him.
Is that the evaluation with those 3 guys, whether to use them in the postseason in a bulk role or just in a more standard relief role?
It's kind of, I think the thing that we've done a great job, Bill, is we've stretched them out. So to be able to take on bulk, to take on innings, but to be able to shorten them if we need to shorten them to get them back online sooner, that's only beneficial for the Dodgers.
And last night was another case where we saw you put your arm around Max Muncy and kind of talk to him, get him to smile a little bit. Why have you felt that necessary with him? Is he kind of feeling the weight of frustration?
I think frustration is certainly one of the things. He's an all-star player and hasn't got untracked yet. So I always think it's a good thing to let the player know that we're all in it together. And so, yeah, I didn't know you caught it, but yeah, it's just he and I have a really good relationship.
What do you think's at the root of his, lack of production this year?
I think that, started off early with the little fracture and then some time away, trying to, work through his mechanics, and there's some things mechanically he hasn't been able to kind of lock down. But I think that last night staying through that breaking ball was a good sign. There was a left-on-left double the other way in San Diego. So I think he's taking his walk. So he's certainly trending in the right direction, and I expect him to be peaking at the right time.
The numbers show that he's still controlling the strike zone and managing the strike zone really well, but he's hitting a lot more ground balls this year. Does that match up with your eye diagnosis?
It does. It does. And I think the ground ball is more mechanics. And I think that because I certainly know that that's not the intent. And as far as his ability to control the strike zone, that's something for me I hang my hat on. And when you're talking about in the postseason where you're seeing ones and twos and threes and guys, top end bullpen guys, controlling the strike zone is really important. And that's something that I know Max does a really good job of.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Questions from Tim Brown. Go ahead, Tim.
Hey, Dave.
Hi, Tim.
I was thinking about you may not know your opponent till even Monday night. It could be a team you haven't seen in at least a year, and then you're going to go into a best of three. Obviously, that goes both ways, but I'm curious about just what enters your mind in terms of what could make that
Well, like you said, it cuts both ways. But for us, I think it's just more of worrying about ourselves, preparing for any opponent we might face. But I think at the end of the day, they still got to throw the baseball to the plate, and we got to make plays and take good at bats and do the same thing and get guys out. And if we do that, we're going to be fine. So the whole game of trying to get caught up in who we play and all this and how we match up, I just don't have any tolerance for it.
Next question from Ron Kavner. Go ahead.
Hey, Dave, when you look at this last week and you have the number of guys in the groove that you have with Corey and AJ and Cody starting to find it, how hard is that balance between keeping guys, going and fresh versus wanting to maybe get them as healthy as possible going into October?
I think when you're talking about that, Justin's the only guy in that bucket. We just came off an off day. We've got 6 in a row. AJ has played a lot. We got the DH. Will Smith's going to DH here probably Friday. Outside of that, we're going to have 2 days off after the season. So our guys are, and that's position players, and the guys in the pen, they're all in a good place as far as physically.
Thanks.
Yep.
Go there.
Dave, just wanted to clarify, did you say you would also use Tony Gonsolin in the same sort of bulk role with an opener in his upcoming start?
Yeah, that's a conversation. We haven't made that decision yet. I know Tony's done it once this year, I think in Arizona. And whether we decide to have him start on Saturday remains to be seen. But it's a conversation.
Thanks.
You got it.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.